Everyone, how are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman. I am the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. We've been open for 13 years as of August 2024. And our background is aerospace, medical implants, printing, and also plastic distribution, dealing with all the industries. Business owners, my company assists companies in consultation, ISO certification, all derivatives, and also GMPs and NADCAP preparation, all the rest of that. Today is a poem for Boeing. In fact, QA expert Daryl Guberman talks about Boeing utilizing a Percy Shelly poem from 1819. And it's a sad affair here when you have Boeing in 2002 send a supplier bulletin to their suppliers, of course, saying, if you send us an AS9100 certificate accredited only by ANSI/ANAB, the reason why is this: there's three things: constriction of trade and anti-competitive activities, restriction, and a monopolization, as you will hear right now, the monopoly. First, they send out the supplier bulletin in 2002 stating that you must be ANSI/ANAB. And you send us your certificate that are ANSI/ANAB accredited, AS9100 for aerospace. Send us your parts, and Boeing does not have to do an on-site audit for 22 years. They also, now I'm going to tell you about the Sherman-Clayton Act, because in 2013 we were approved, giving a seminar at the American Society for Quality, both the New Haven and Fairfield County chapters. We were approved by a Mr. Dave Levy, a Region 3 director, who came there to try to destroy me. That's what his whole prom directive was, and he couldn't. A knowledgeable guy, and I don't want to be overly conceited, but what we have is we have the truth. When you have the truth, you appear more knowledgeable than the average in the realm of quality control. So Dave said, and at that time, the American Society for Quality owned ANAB, the American National Crediting Board, 50%. He said, Mr. Guberman, ANAB has no problem with you. In fact, we support you, sir. That was in 2016. 2013. 2016, and Mr. Randy Doherty, who at one time was the vice president of ANAB, the chairman of the IF, and principal in the IF tax report. And the IF is the International Accreditation Form, incorporated in Delaware, which is a repository for both national and international accreditation bodies. And ANSI/ANAB are underwriters for the IAF, along with their sister organization, ILAC, which is the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. ANSI is one of the founders of the IF as well, so they have a big hand in the operation and function of that organization, yet they sit on there as an underwriter. It's craziness, it really is. So anyway, Randy invited us to join either ANAB or IAF or both. He said it's voluntary. We discovered, hey, in 2015, Randy gave the keys to the kingdom of the IAF, where ANSI/ANAB sit, to a communist Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, who at the time was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services in Beijing, China. He also certified the Wuhan laboratory, which should not have gotten certified because in 2018, that was in 2017, in 2018, some specialists from the United States went to talk to the scientists in the Wuhan laboratory. And what the scientists said, they were begging them. So we need trained technicians. Well, guess what? That means that Zhao Jinwu certified a laboratory that was not prepared, was not up to snuff, and they just handed the certificate, grabbed the money, and that was it. In, as you know, 2019, the COVID virus, without a doubt, escaped. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because in 2018, those guys came back and made a complaint to the United States government, who went like this, and went like this, and went like this, and that's it. In 2018, Ms. Pamela Sale, vice president of ANSI/ANAB, laboratory accreditation, said under deposition in Texas, all of it will be down below the video in featured articles, everything else, you'll see it. She said that from one laboratory to another, it's ad hoc. They really don't have protocols to follow. Thus, every laboratory certificate that's out there was given to a laboratory that did not meet standard. And that's what we have when you look at ANSI/ANAB. when you look at them. And Boeing, let me get to Boeing too, all right? Boeing sits on ANSI ANAB's board that can grant, suspend, or withdraw certification. They also sit on the board of directors that guides the ship. That's number one. Number two is you saw the supplier portal. Give us your AS9100 certificate. Give us your parts. You've got a robust system. We don't have to come visit you on site to see if your parts aren't being made in the Everglades or something. It's number two. Number three is on their supplier portal. It states ANSI ANAB or internationally equivalent. They squeezed my business out of there, thus breaking the Sherman Act. The only problem is that I don't have an attorney who's got any balls enough to come up and say, yes, Daryl, they did break the Sherman Act. Let's go for it, because I've got all the data. ANSI ANAB does not want this data out there because they are perpetrating the biggest industrial fraud going. And we have the data. We would not make that claim. We are not disparaging. We have the data. In fact, in 2019, I exposed an impropriety with laboratory, and we had a Mr. Russ Cheney. And by the way, these guys sit on the board. Lockheed and Lockheed and Boeing sit on the board of ANSI. And Russ Cheney, who's the chairman, called me up on the phone and said, "Half a nut fuck you to me." Yes. Following in the suit of Mr. Patrick Shanahan, who at the time was the Deputy Secretary of Defense, who said, when he was asked about the F-35 program, the program's fucked up. Well, not only is the program fucked up, Mr. Shanahan, but also the F-35 is, because after their 801st aircraft, they're still producing, as we say, escapes, or quality deviations, or quality rejections. So, Russ Cheney said that. In 2022, I applied for Director at Large for ANSI. And guess who was the nominating chairman? Mr. Russ Cheney. But this is where it gets bad. Because as a chairman, these guys are representative of ANSI. Chairman's words. So when that guy said, "Have a nut, fuck you," it was like those two saying it to me. Isn't that nice? Well, maybe they were talking about their quality, especially David Calhoun. The next thing I'm going to show you is this. This is the actual document, this article, that definitely tells you that Boeing is made an FAA regulator. Worst thing is that Boeing sits by the FAA on ANSI's board. The FAA increased the authority of Boeing's Commercial Airlines division to self-certify its own aircraft. Authority extended Boeing under the new system allows Boeing employees to perform tasks on behalf of the FAA that include oversight of testing, product standards, along with certification of aircraft technologies. That's the MCAS system on Ethiopian and Malaysian Air, and new aircraft designs like 777, 787. So now I'm going to read this poem, ladies and gentlemen. I think I told you enough. Most of the data, all the data will be down below. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, 203-556-1493, or Daryl, D-A-R-Y-L-T-Q-R-S at yahoo.com. And here it is. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Boeing, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains, round the decay of the colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far and away." This poem is about the destruction of Boeing, basically, and shows that power deteriorates and will not last forever, as we can see with David Calhoun retiring when he should not wait till December, just as Joe Bathy, the CEO, who condoned what Russ Cheney said to me in 2019, along with their lawyer, Jameson Carroll. They should all step down now. Why wait? I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and remember this. Confucius, it is not the droplet of water that wears away the mighty stone, but it is its persistence. I thank you.